Annyeong! It's K-Wave with Hongbin on Money FM 89.3. Welcome to K-Wave. I'm Hongbin Jeong, your South Korean living right here in Singapore, bringing you all you have to know about the Korean wave, better known as the Hallyu fever. It's K-Influencer today. And are you a Muslim traveler often faced with the challenges of finding halal food options when exploring new destinations, especially in South Korea? I mean, they say food is the bridge to culture, but what happens when limited food options prevent you from fully immersing yourself in a beautiful culture? Well, Unnie from Seoul has got our Muslim travelers covered as she shares detailed food and location information, ensuring that Muslim travelers don't limit themselves and can fully immerse themselves in Korea's rich cultural tapestry. So, to find out more about where you can get great halal Korean food, joining us today is Unnie from Seoul. Hi, Unnie from Seoul. Thank you for joining me today.
Hello, Hongbin. Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you for joining us. Okay, you go by the name Unnie from Seoul. So, can you tell us more about yourself and what content you create and how you started creating such content?
Sure. So for those of you who may not know, Unnie in Korean means a big sister. So I
Mm.
go by the name Unnie from Seoul, and I'm a social media content creator based in Seoul, South Korea. I'm South Korean myself, and my purpose is to assist Muslim travelers by discovering and sharing everything Muslim friendly through my posts on Instagram and TikTok. And the majority of my content revolves around Muslim friendly food in Korea, but also provide information on masjids, the mosques, and the public prayer rooms in the country.
Okay. So, what sparked your interest in exploring and promoting Muslim friendly options in Korea? You did mention off air just now when we were just talking that your boyfriend is Muslim.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He's from Malaysia. He's Muslim
Mhm.
from Malaysia. But I guess the better context is that I was born and raised in Korea. However,
Mhm.
I also had the opportunity to study abroad in several different cities. So I've had the pleasure of meeting friends from all over the world, including Muslims.
Mhm.
So I've noticed that whenever my Muslim friends visit Korea, they often struggle to find halal food, and they end
Mhm.
up going to the same halal restaurants in a particular district of Seoul. And frankly speaking, most of these restaurants, they don't even serve Korean food. They would be
Mhm.
like Turkish or Indian and whatnot. And even if they do serve Korean food, I felt like they lack the authentic local experience of dining with Koreans, as they primarily cater to Muslim travelers only, right?
Mhm.
So, however, being a Korean myself who is familiar with the language and food culture, I know that there are plenty of Korean dishes with recipes that are Muslim friendly.
Mhm.
The only challenge lies in finding restaurants that serve these dishes without the risk of cross contamination with pork and alcohol, while also ensuring that they use halal meat and
Mhm.
seafood.
Right.
I believe that if someone could discover authentic Korean restaurants, review their menus, speak with the owners, and confirm their Muslim friendly status, I thought many Muslim travelers could benefit from this and truly enjoy the authentic taste of Korean cuisine while adhering to their Islamic values and lifestyle. So, this realization prompted me to embark on a search for restaurants in Korea where Muslim travelers can consider dining.
Mhm. Was there a specific moment when you realized that there should be more visibility and accessibility options of halal food in Korea?
Yeah, I think it was with the moments when my friends would tell me, "Hey, I've been to this halal restaurant. I went to this place and this another place," but it was always the same restaurant that they would tell me.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
whenever I go to these restaurants myself, I felt like the all these travelers would come to Korea to really enjoy the local experience, local vibes. But I felt that these restaurants lacked that
Mhm.
localness of traveling.
Mhm. Well, taking a look at your content, you do post a lot of places that I didn't even know existed that offer these halal food options. So, how do you find these places? Is it a mere Google or, let's say, Naver search, or did you get recommendations from your peers?
I would say 95% of the former and 5% of the latter. But I
Mhm.
do dedicate a few hours to a few days searching for Muslim friendly restaurants, going beyond simply looking for places labeled as halal
Mhm.
restaurants. which can easily be found on Google, actually. So my goal here is to find local Korean restaurants where the main clientele consists of Koreans, yet
Mhm.
the establishment is pork-free and they offer dishes without meat and alcohol. So
Mhm.
this approach allows Muslim travelers to enjoy an authentic local experience, savoring the same Korean food that locals consume, rather than being limited to dining at the so-called halal restaurants labeled primarily targeting foreign tourists only. But to accomplish this, I first select a specific region and examine the menus of all the restaurants listed on Naver Map to identify places that are pork-free. And
Mm.
then after that, to ensure the restaurant is indeed pork-free and offers dishes from meat and alcohol, I either call or direct message the establishment to double check. And after that, I visit the restaurants. I personally engage in conversation with the owner to confirm their practices and film myself enjoying the food as an additional verification step.
Okay. Are they, when you call them, are they open and sharing that they are pork free?
Frankly speaking, this whole process is also quite difficult and challenging for me as well, right? Because they would often be like, "Why are you asking? Like, what's the whole purpose?" And they sometimes think I'm a picky
Mhm.
customer. But I think this is something that I must do for my contents and to provide accurate information to my followers. So yeah, but oftentimes I do share that I would like to introduce these restaurants to my Muslim friends who cannot eat pork or non-halal meat or alcohol such as mirin or any other cooking alcohol. And then after I explain all this in detail, then they are very kind enough to share that information with me.
I guess it does stem from the fact that there isn't a Muslim majority in South Korea, so a lot of South Koreans aren't aware by these religious needs that they practice. But along the way, I'm sure you learned a lot of things. Were there any surprising discoveries when you were like searching and asking?
I think for me, as someone who doesn't really cook
Mhm.
often myself, I realized that there are a lot of dishes that contain cooking alcohol, like
Mm.
mirin. I think traditionally Korean food or Japanese food, we do put in a bit of mirin to remove the smell or impurities from the seafood and all that. So I think the amount of places that put in this cooking alcohol was some surprising discovery for myself. So ever since, I do make sure that I do ask the owners, I do explain to them why mirin has to be excluded, and then ask for the menus that don't contain mirin.
Okay. So, I mean, you've visited so many places. Which one is your favorite? Which one would you say all Muslim travelers should go to?
Oh, oof, so many. Um, I mean, I did share, I think, over 100 Muslim-friendly places on my channel, but I think off the top of my head, my top favorite is Go-sam-i in
Mm.
Sincho. So it's located right in front of Yonsei University. It's just a local Korean restaurant that happens to sell grilled mackerel, spicy squid, and soft tofu stew. Everything is meat-free and seafood based only. And for some reason, a lot of even before I shared this restaurant on my channel, actually there was a lot of Muslim travelers coming to this restaurant. So the restaurant owners, they know exactly what they should do for the Muslim
Mm.
travelers, and their food just tastes amazing. Their 오징어 볶음, the spicy stir fried squid, is like the best I've ever tried or tasted in
Wow.
my life. So you should definitely go there. 고삼이.
Okay. Okay, I shall check that out. I'm sure that a lot of Muslim followers follow your channel as well. So, what has been the feedback so far?
Mm. So I think one of the most joyful moments that I experienced after starting my channel is when they tell me that their whole travel experience was just completely full of joy
Mhm.
because of my channels. They were able to go to all these different local restaurants that they never considered going, and they were able to fully immerse themselves into the local Korean culture. So that was very nice to hear, and I felt like my work was properly recognized by so many of my Muslim friends and followers. But they do also give me some constructive feedback and some other recommendations that they would want me to cover. So, for example, recently they told me, or they asked me to cover more about the convenience store snacks.
Mhm.
There's so many convenience stores in Korea, and there's so many cool products out there, but they're not so sure how to properly read the food labels, and they don't know which one to get. So I've been making some contents on that as well, and I do plan to make more contents on convenience store snacks. And also, one of the recent feedback was for me to include information whether the restaurant sells alcoholic beverages or not, like beer and soju. Some people relatively feel comfortable going into these restaurants as long as they don't drink these
Mhm.
alcoholic beverages, but some people are not. So I do try my best to include this information in my videos, whether they sell alcoholic beverages or not, so that they can exercise their best discretion.
I think what you're doing is amazing because just by having this conversation with you, I'm seeing, oh, there's these problems, especially about the convenience store. We have convenience store every step you take, there's a convenience store. And I didn't realize that Muslim travelers, they might want to try out some Korean snacks, but they don't know how to read the label. And it's amazing that you're also covering that kind of content on your social media.
Thank you.
So, well, thank you for doing this. It's a great thing that you're doing. But would you say there's any, specific regions or neighborhoods in South Korea that in Korea that you feel offer particularly rich opportunities for exploring halal food options?
Yeah, sure. For halal restaurants, I think we all know that Itaewon is the place to go, right?
Mhm.
Itaewon is such an international neighborhood, consisting of so many international culinary experiences. Wherever you go, you can find restaurants that serve like food from everywhere. There is a street called Halal Food Street, literally, where it's a street full of halal restaurants.
Mm.
I think recently I'm very happy to see that there's a bit more halal Korean restaurants emerging as well, so that Muslim travelers coming to Korea can enjoy these Korean food at a halal certified or self-proclaimed halal restaurants. Hmm.
Okay, okay. So for our Muslim travelers who may be tuning in, thinking of traveling from Singapore to South Korea, what advice would you give them to ensure that they're a fulfilling culinary experience while also adhering to the halal dietary requirements?
Yes. So, what I have observed from my interactions with my Muslim followers and friends who wish to visit Korea is that they're very concerned about finding halal food in Korea.
Mhm.
And this is valid. This concern is very valid, especially when searching for halal certified or self proclaimed halal restaurants, as they can be a bit difficult to find, especially outside Itaewon and whatnot. But my recommendation is to not hesitate to seek assistance from the
Mhm.
owner or even a random passerby to help with the menu translations. While some people may not be familiar with the term halal and its specific requirements, most will gladly assist you if you inquire about the presence of pork dishes or cooking alcohol in the food. As long as you fully explain what your need is, they will be super helpful and you will be able to get the help that you need. So by asking
Mhm.
these questions, you can use your discretion to determine if the restaurant is Muslim friendly and enjoy a wider range of options to savor local delicacies.
All right. Do you have any advice for our fellow South Koreans? Let's say they have some Muslim travelers or Muslim friends traveling and visiting them in South Korea. How should they go about?
Sure. First, follow Unnie From Seoul page. You will be able to see a long list of recommendations. But second, I think the easiest step is to Google halal restaurants in Korea, and then you will see that list of halal restaurants that are, I guess, more well known for all tourists. But third, if you really want to enjoy local delicacies like the Muslim friendly local food that I focus on introducing, I do recommend that you maybe study a bit of Korean cuisine or culinary culture. So, like, as long as you know which kind of menus would tend to be more Muslim friendly, for example, bibimbap will mostly consist of vegetables only. This menu will mostly have pork. This menu will mostly be seafood only. I think once you have that sort of basic concept of which menu can be more Muslim friendly or may not be more Muslim friendly, and I think that you can save your time
Mhm.
and some research on your own to pick out the restaurants that you want to go to.
I see. And before we let you go here, what are your plans now? What kind of content can we look forward to in the future?
Sure. My plan is to continue what I'm doing right now, but I definitely would like to venture outside of Seoul. So right now, I'm actually in Jeju Island, where
Oh.
fresh seafood is abundant wherever you go, right? So even last night, I went to a fresh raw seafood restaurant where they only sell fresh seafood. And this morning, I went to a fully vegetarian place because Jeju also has a lot of vegan restaurants here.
Mhm.
So my plan is to go to all these places outside of Seoul so that more travelers can enjoy other cities and other local cultures outside of Seoul so that you can just travel Korea freely and happily.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Hongbin, for having me. Thank you, Singapore.
Thank you. If you want to check Unnie out, you may visit her TikTok at Unnie From Seoul. Now, if you want to know how to spell Unnie, that's UNNIE, Unnie From Seoul. I'm Hongbin Jeong, and this has been K Influencers on K Wave right here on Money FM 89.3.
Money FM 89.3.